I'm going to bring Millie Weaver up here to talk about her experiences. You can repeat that, it was powerful. Then I got Lee Stranahan coming up, Leanne McAdoo's here, I want to get her up, and a bunch of others. And then we're going to be going to your questions and your comments and have another round with Roger. But it's good to be here, standing for free speech, standing against these bullies, and letting them know they'll never get our First Amendment, and they'll never take our Second. And the fact that they're trying to take it away now only lets us know how precious it is, and we're going to fight that much harder. So if you assholes want to fight, you better believe you got one.
Wow, well, that's going to be very hard to follow. Well, for many of you guys who don't know me, I'm Millie Weaver, a reporter for Infowars.com. And like many of you guys who are here today, I'm very concerned with what I've been seeing happen in our country. The attacks on our free speech are apparent. We just saw with Mark Zuckerberg and this hearing where he told us that within the year, he's going to implement algorithms that are going to successfully censor people and remove content off of the internet, off of social media platforms. Pretty similar to how we've been seeing the censorship go on at YouTube. What's concerning here is that we have an attack on the First Amendment, an attack on free speech, while at the same time, we have the mainstream media pushing lies and propaganda that we should do away with the Second Amendment. If we don't have the first, how are we going to protect the Second Amendment? How are we going to protect our country, the Constitution? All of our amendments, our right to privacy, which Mark Zuckerberg feels so content to violate over and over by selling users' information. It's disturbing, and it should scare us all. So here's what I want to get at here. We've seen Antifa mobs be mobilized by George Soros, okay? By big corporations that have tons and tons of money funneling into these groups like MoveOn.org, Refuse Fascism, and Antifa. I saw it at Charlottesville. I was there on the ground in Charlottesville, and the mainstream media started coming out immediately saying that the violence was one-sided, that only the violence was coming from the alt-right. The people who are out there trying to protect the right of a statue of our history to still exist. When we have a totalitarian government that wants to try and justify removing history, removing memorials, any American should be concerned about that. I mean, anyone who wants to just go out there and stand out there and peacefully protest should be allowed to. But here's what happened. Left groups, radical leftist groups came out there in hordes, ready to attack. And yes, there were radical elements of the right out there as well. You did have them as well, which I personally believe that a lot of these radical right groups that were out there had ties to the deep state. And they're sent out there to be provocateurs, to cause violence, so that you can demonize the entire right, demonize Trump, the entire Trump movement. So what they did was they had Antifa groups out there who came with coolers full of water balloons filled with urine, feces, and chemicals. They were throwing them and launching them into the crowd of people who were standing around the statue. They had tear gas canisters that they were deploying on the peaceful protesters, pepper spraying, attacking with bats. Okay, this was a violent mob of Antifa who came out there. And my gosh, the coverage afterward where CNN was glorifying Antifa, a known terrorist organization that justifies violence against anyone that they want to deem as a Nazi, that's abhorrent. That's inciting violence. That's why we should be concerned about our ability to refute the mainstream media's claims being taken away. So, exactly. So essentially, what happened here, we had communists on one side saying, no free speech for you, only free speech for us. We had fascists on one side saying, no free speech for you, only free speech for us. Both sides wanted to silence the other side. Now, let's say they both got their way. Well, then who would have free speech at that point? You know, I made it very clear when I was out there reporting for Infowars.com that we don't support either of both sides' views. Communism does not align with the American way, nor does fascism. But we respect your right to be out there and peacefully assemble and peacefully protest. And that's what every American should respect. Just as every American should respect an open and free platform on the internet, on social media. Let the people on the internet decide what they want to subscribe to, what they want to watch. If you don't like something, it's simple. Move on. Don't watch it. Choose to watch something else. We should have the ability to choose, and it's concerning when we have someone like Mark Zuckerberg with all of these controls where we have billions of people on Facebook who have the ability to affect the outcome of our country, being given one-sided information. Many of this information is globalist-run propaganda that is designed to convince people that they should do away with their Constitution.
Check, check.
Just hold it. Okay. Alex Jones has said to Piers Morgan, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our guns. And that's true. But 1776 will commence again if you try to take away our First Amendment. Because without it, we cannot protect our Second Amendment. We're going to stand up and we're going to do something. We know that this assault on our First Amendment is designed to make it so they can have the upper hand. They can have the advantage when it comes to the 2018 midterm elections. They know that we, the American people, are the reason why President Trump is elected as the 45th president of the United States. We did it, not Russian bots. Us, the American people, did it. And we're going to do it again. We're going to do it in 2018, and we're going to do it in 2020. But before we can even do that, we have to stand up and protect the First Amendment. We have to stand up and protect the Second Amendment. We have to get out there and become more and more active, more vocal, spread the links, share the links. Any sites out there, any new media that's telling the truth, that's trying to get the word out there for pro-Americana, for the USA, for making America great again, we need to say, hey, let's share this, let's get this message out there. Now, I did want to add something to what Alex said. He brought up this, move, bitch, get out the way, okay? Yeah, move, bitch, get out the way so we can make America great again.
Boy, Millie's on fire. She's awesome.